Okay. 5,
4,
3,
2.
Yay! There we go.
We did it.
I felt like with you being in America, I should up the ante with the
yeah, and then at the end, a tiny before the beat drops.
Exactly.
And then it's like, Hello and welcome to DM's Book Club, the podcast where we read about some Dungeons and Dragons, maybe barely research it, I don't know, discuss how we put it into our role-playing campaigns. Don't worry, folks, that will mean nothing to anyone. It's just me and Hamilton.
I'm all right. I'm definitely ready to go after that. Perfect.
Good.
Perfect.
Good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm good. I'm not off the back of any Curse of Strahd. I am No. I am deep in the prep for Dragon's Season 3 and solo parenting for 2 days, as I said, so knackered is the word.
Yeah. You are the busiest man in Twitch. I just assume that. I was like, what's Hamilton doing? And then I'm like, I'll check the Discord.
The crazy thing is their people are busier. That's the joke. Like, they're actually, I'm not even at the level of some people. It is insane. I don't know where they get the time, but yeah.
Oh. Yes, and as folks may see, that I'm not in my usual room. I am in a closet in the US. I'm currently visiting my partner in the US, and whilst he's bought a new house, and it's very, very lovely, it is incredibly echoey. But now they have these things called walk-in closets, and let me tell you, Hamilton, it's very nice.
Yes.
The house itself is very nice, but it's also like, God damn it! Just because our UK houses, they're lovely, but it's a different world over here.
Well,
yeah,
your room
small...
is the same as this room, which is like a normal bedroom, whilst yours is a secondary room.
Yeah, this is just like, oh, we'll just put clothes in here, but we'll never use it for anything else. Yeah. What?
I design walk-in closets in houses in some of the architecture, and they are literally basically a wardrobe times 2, and that's we call that luxury. All that luxury is.
I can literally get up and walk around and peruse. Maybe I'll have that shirt from all the way over there, and it's that's the thing. Is like, I know as a British person in America that this is like first world problems as well. But it's like, oh, it's very overwhelming. Oh, there's so much to do. But yes, that's where I am. But speaking of D&D stuff, I actually we had our regular Monday game last night, thanks to the wonders of online technology, and we faced our very first dragon in a game.
Yeah!
Yes, it's the whole Dungeons and Dragons thing. Like, I think you said it, a lot of dungeons, not much dragons. Yeah. Finally faced one,
Yay.
And it was very scary.
What was your level and what was the dragon?
So we were level 17, and we were facing a dragon that's not in the current monster manual, or even in what we're going to discuss today in Fizban's. It is a wind dragon that I think is from one of the Bestiaries from Wolfgang. I can't remember his last name, unfortunately, but they do other sort of
Punk. Is that the chef?
I think so. Oh no, I don't know. There you go. Lack of research. But it's like a codex thing that they do, and it's like a 5e stuff. So we gave that to our DM right at the beginning of the campaign, and now he's using it quite a bit. Because not that we know every monster, but it's quite nice to see all these different types.
That's
but
cool.
Yes, we're up against like an elemental dragon, which I will tell you before we go into this thing. It was very funny because obviously we're at the beginning of this thing. We know we're going to face it, and I was like, should we just maybe check? Should we talk to it first? They go, no, we're going to go and kill it. I was like, I mean, just saying, dragons are very smart, and it knows we're coming, so running in might not work. No, it's fine. And of course, it's like on a ledge, really high up. It's going to do a monologue, and I was like, this is the perfect time to do a distraction, right? And then obviously we were just like, and they were like, okay, well,
it's too late now. This is literally probably what happens in real life, not obviously with dragons, but when people face some sort of thing, is just like, should we be doing this? I don't know. He's still monologuing. Oh fuck, he's now burning us. It's so crap.
Yeah, exactly. But well, today, Hamilton. Well, what are we doing today? It's just sort of a sneaky peek there. But what are we doing?
We are creating our own dragon.
Yes. We're going back into Fizban's finally, after a brief sort of impressions. We're like, oh, it's very good, and now looking into actually creating all the, having a look at least one dragon type and looking through and see what we can do.
Exactly,
so,
it'd be fun.
Very exciting.
Yeah,
and as we said before on DM's Book Club, we have done an episode on the chromatics versus the mechanics and stuff. And the reason sort of I mentioned that story about playing against the dragon last night is because I'm very aware, and I know, Hamilton, you are very aware, that dragons are very smart, ancient beings. Like, you don't take them down easily. They take towns down before the adventurers come.
Yeah.
So that's why and obviously Fizban has this huge section on how to roleplay dragons. That gives this whole lore of stuff, which is amazing. That's sort of like, it's not just here's the monster, you hit at it, points go down, etc. That there's a whole, like, with all these sort of legendary creatures and stuff, and having the big bad at the end of a campaign, that have a little bit of thought into creating this dragon, because it's going to be a lasting impression on you guys, because it is a dragon. Dungeons and Dragons, that sort of thing. You want to make sure you leave a lasting impression rather than like, here it is. Like, you're gonna probably have to talk. You're probably gonna have to do some conniving sort of things and just like, use all the things, learn the legendary actions, all that sort of thing. Exactly. So you can't. I feel it's one of those things you have to prepare for.
Oh, seriously, and if you don't, and like, remembering, as you said, not even legendary actions, layer actions as well, and
layer actions, of course.
And you've really got to be on your game in terms of tactically, because they are. You can get really outdone. Do you know what I mean? Like, I got outdone basically one turn when someone force caged me.
Force cage is an amazing spell.
Yeah, and I was like, fuck, I'm like stuck in a force cage. There's nothing I can do as a dragon. Like, that was it. Yeah. I was just like, oh, okay, right, so, all right, because I failed the saving throw, and that was literally it. It was one roll and done, because there was nothing. Unless someone can tell me there's a way out of it, because I couldn't find a way out of it.
I guess it depends if you had legendary resistances where you can succeed a saving throw.
Oh yeah, they weren't that legendary yet. They weren't.
Yeah, that's the thing. Only certain certain levels of dragons. Obviously, you've got like wormlings.
Sorry, this wasn't like an ancient dragon. This was just a young dragon. No, but still,
young and adult dragons. Yeah. I believe they don't have it. We'll double check, obviously. But so that's the only thing I say is that. Yeah, I always think when you're putting a legendary creature in, double check there is a resistance thing. Because I just write that at the top of your sheet, because like that will come in handy, because all your adventurers are going to be putting out like the really big spells, and you're like, I save, it doesn't matter. Like, and because obviously players will know if they've planned it properly that, like, okay, most legendary creatures will have 3 legendary resistances per day, so we need to get that eaten up in some way.
Yeah, it was a young dragon, then young dragons don't. It's only adult dragons that do, but I just want to double check that. Yeah.
It's
still only I know it's only a young dragon, but it was a great move.
Yeah. Well, fair cop to that player. Like, that Force Cage is a great spell. I've been on the receiving end of that myself, and I'm like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. But it was great, and I think it's such a great spell. But obviously, if they save, then that's gone. But that's not what we're talking about today. So we're going to look at no. But I think it's interesting, like, because. Again, it's an iconic creature that we want to make sure, as a DM, that we get it right. In a sense, like it has a great impact on the game. It's not just, here's another thing for you to fight because you've gone up the levels. So, looking at Fizban, so they have this thing at the end called the I'm not going to say this right, am I? The Draconomicon.
Draconomicon.
Right? There you go.
Draconomicon.
They have their own bestiary at the
sounds
end.
Like the new sounds a little bit like the new COVID, doesn't it? Omicron.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that will make the world a little bit better if we realise that the new strain is all about dragons.
Yeah, you're all going to turn into dragons.
That would be. I say that would be amazing. That would be awful.
Yes.
There's always dragons suddenly appear. Yeah. But yes, so they've got a whole section at the end with the new dragons as well. So I thought we'd go through and pick one that appeals to you, Hamilton, and then we can sort of look at the stats of that particular dragon, but also there's a section where we can create the ideals, personality, bonds and flaws, and come up with an actual personality. Because like I said, most dragons are certainly, well, they will have their own personality. That's the thing. I think it sets them apart from most other just normal monsters, is that they've lived such an experienced life. They have created hordes. There are always people coming to fight them in some way. So they'll have certain wants, certain needs, certain aspirations, and probably certain weaknesses as well. It's individual to those dragons. Yeah. So it's nice to have like these whole sort of, I guess, not stereotypes, that's not what I'm thinking of, but sort of a whole sort of types of dragons. So you've got your chromatics, metallics, and gem. But then to drill down and go, oh, here's a subset, and here's
typologies. I think is the right word.
Yeah, and also it allows you to have, like, 'cause not all dragons live together. Obviously, quite a few of them actually live in isolation because they all hate each other, which is great. But like, maybe there's a reason why this dragon isn't a part of, is different to the rest of the sort of red dragons, for example. So.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the thing, and it's like what you were saying about them having like a flaw. It kind of reminds me a bit like when we were talking about our villains the other day. Like a great villain always has to have that little, like, their kryptonite, you know, for want of a better term, that is something that you can manipulate or use. And I mentioned when we did Fizban's the one in that Drizzt overcomes by using their vanity and sort of pretends to be another dragon in human form, and sort of like boasting to them that they're better than they are and stuff like that, and like getting under their skin, and then instead of actually fighting them, which is quite well done. So
well, actually thinking about it, that the process we went through to create a villain works incredibly well. You just have to, at the end, go, okay, which dragon type is it?
Exactly.
You know, like, so that's the thing. You don't, like, and I've said it before in that episode, is that when you're thinking of, like, okay, it's a monstrous big bad or villain, take away the monstrous at the beginning and work on those human elements, the ones that you can relate to as a character, and then put on the monster afterwards. Because I think that's just much easier as a thing. So yeah, absolutely, very good point, actually, that idea that, you know, wants, needs and stuff like that, but is also a massive fuck off dragon.
Exactly. Yeah, there's still the skin you need to get under is pretty scary. Like
it's like well, exactly. And I mean, you could also do that for NPCs as well. It's like they're a big fuck off dragon, but they're actually really nice. Yeah. And they've been guarding the local town, but obviously people don't go near because it's like, it's a fucking dragon. Yeah. You know. So now I'm just thinking like a Grinch type dragon. I mean, most dragons are Grinchy around their hoards, but now I'm just like, Christmas dragon. Okay, enough. Christmas dragon. Back in the box. Okay, back in the closet. Right. So, there are 20 types in Fizban's of different ones. So we've got the new ones, we've got metallics, the chromatics, and things. So I'm looking at, I mean, obviously we're looking at DMBC, I'm not sure what page it's on, but Hamilton, we've got 20 types. Yes. So do you want to roll a d20 for me and see?
Roll a d20. Here we go. Whoa! I just dropped it.
Oh no!
I was trying to do like some flair. I rolled a natural 1.
Well, that is great, because that is an amethyst dragon.
Oh, it is. Hey, there we go. I clicked on it, and people can see it.
There you go. All good. All good. So, I don't know much about amethyst dragons, obviously, other than the gem dragons. But I like that sort of quote at the top. I once sought life advice from an amethyst dragon who specialised in that sort of thing. I told her all my flaws and unwanted behaviours, and she described the best elixir. Stop doing those things. I still think back on that visit in trying times. I like it. This seems very straightforward, per se. But yes, so looking at, and I assume this happens for each of the entries, we've got personality traits, ideals, adventure hooks. Yeah. We've got a whole lot of things there. So there you go. I've clearly not looked at this. Whoops. But I see now that they've got the different dragon types as well, so you can have connections, essentially. Yeah. That's really good. Great. And layers. Wow, there's a lot to go through. All right, let's start at the top then.
Cool. Okay. So we've got personality traits. Go on then. Have you got some dice?
I do have some dice. Within... Like as if I was back in London, I'm always like 8 feet away from a dice set of some sort. Cool. So So
do they just orbit you? Is that what you're saying? You just have like an orbit of dice?
I just pull out of the air. Absolutely.
Just take that one.
So, how do you want to do personality traits? Because I am aware when you create a character, you can pick 2. Yes. Or do we just want to roll 1, or do you want to? Do you think we should do 1 each?
Oh, let's do 1 each. Let's do that then. That's good. Okay. That's good. So, okay, you go first.
This is a D8. Okay. So a D8 on this table. Oh, you know what? It's too dark in here to see it. That is a 4.
Although some are fascinated by words, I think numbers are the true foundations of creation. Ooh, bit of a math nerd.
Yeah, no, it feels very much like... Oh, now I can't remember which college it is. Contrix in Strixhaven?
Oh, I don't know. I have not actually had a look at that yet, unfortunately.
Fair enough, yeah. I think Contrix is all mathematical. I see them as all Excel spreadsheets kind of people, but yes. Okay, great. Okay, that sounds
like a good one. We've got an accountant. So basically we've got an accountant dragon.
Of course.
With the little visor. With the little visor. Yes. Amethyst dragon with the accountant. Okay, I'll roll D8. Let's see which one I get.
Go for it. See what else we get.
A 2. What have we got?
I am a sworn protector against the deprecations of the far realm and will root out its corruptions wherever it may rise.
Oh, cool. So I'm a good dragon fighting to root out corruption. And I'm an accountant.
Awesome. Love numbers. Yeah, I think that's great. I like that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's quite cool. Because obviously now you have like, here is their job, or here is their sort of motive per se. In a way, I know we'll go into ideals in a second, but also I like numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of numbers? Any numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that'd be quite funny. Because it does say some are fascinated by my words.
Yeah.
So obviously it's someone who is very eloquent. So it's not like the social anxiety, like I like numbers sort of thing. But I quite like that. But it could be really eloquent, almost like a Benedict Cumberbatch style. But also just throw in lots of different numbers, like 2,932 or something like that. Like really, really elongated. Yeah. What?
47, sir.
Nothing. Just so. Oh, you know what it could be? Actually, thinking about it, again, more of like a mannerism. It's that sort of thing where you go, "What do you think of the number 31? Isn't it delicious? 31," and just roll that around like as a sort of your mannerisms that you just throw out random words and say, "What do you think?" Like, you know how people see color around certain words and stuff. It could be the same sort of thing about numbers.
I like that. I actually know someone on the internet, DM Yeti, who has made a draconic numbering system, like symbols. It's really cool. I will try and share a link to it now.
Please.
Because it's he uses it's like a circular disc, and it's 12. It's 12, but it uses 3-digit claws. So it's basically as if he's really thought about it. Like they would scroll a circle with their claws, and then they would do scratches. Like 1, 2, 3, and then they'd turn 1, 2, 3, and they would all make like a numbering system, particularly for dragons.
That's so.
How cool is that?
So bloody cool.
It's really cool.
Very cool.
I'll show some pictures as well, hopefully at the moment. But yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love stuff like that. Like I know they've done obviously with Infernal Language and stuff that they've given those sort of guides for DMs to create stuff. That's really cool actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love handouts like that. Just a little bit more. It feels real, doesn't it?
It really does. And for this sort of dragon, that'd be perfect. Like to have these numbers and use that as like a that could be part of your trips and your tricks and traps, sort of thing. Like as you're getting to the layer, there's lots of these little number sequences you've got to figure out.
Oh my god, it's like a math quiz.
Yes.
To get through this door, what is these numbers? Oh my god, that'd be amazing. Because then they're like, wait, are we just doing a test?
Yes.
But it's one of
D&D. Yeah.
Amazing. I love it. Again, we've already created it. Like this dragon in my head is so vivid.
Yeah.
Now, and that's just from 2 rolls. So that's incredible.
It's the magic.
All right, on to ideals.
Ideals. Okay.
So this is quite good. So this obviously gives that alignment thing what we were saying about. So obviously alignment is very different now, but we can see what it comes from there. So if you want to roll a d6,
it's your turn now.
What we get.
It's your turn.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah, I just rolled.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That is a 3 on the die.
Ooh, self-improvement. I am a complex gem. I constantly polish and refine my many facets to make the whole much more perfect.
Ooh.
Okay. So
that's quite cool. I like that.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Like
go on.
No, go for it.
I was thinking like, well, their whole point is that they want to like root out corruption. So I can see them as slightly like self-improvement, slightly self-deprecating about the ability that they're able to do, like to uncover corruption. But they're always like constantly like trying to push themselves further. I'm seeing this like very superhero-y sort of character in my mind as well. Sort of, yeah.
Definitely, and I think maybe, they also see themselves. Yeah, they're not perfect in a way. They want to be perfect, so they're aware of their own shortcomings and stuff. But maybe they don't show it as well. Like I always think, like obviously I know like it's diamonds that are the hardest material on Earth and stuff like that. So that sort of idea that they have this hard exterior, perhaps, is sort of like obviously they're not showing their weakness per se, and it's very hard to crush that as a way. So I really like that. It's such what a great line as well. Like, I am a complex gem.
Yes.
Maybe I should put that in my bios. I am a complex gem. I am so sparkly, but I am so complex.
You have to do that all the time, and you're just talking. So yeah, and also maybe just reading some math books before going to bed, just to keep up on the latest.
They'll be on Big Brain Academy on the Switch. Yeah. Just like get all the Sudokus on it. Oh my god. Yeah.
Sudoku.
their dragon hoard is just full of cryptic crosswords,
Yes.
Sudokus, like that, and then
abacuses,
Could you
it's
imagine
golden
another-
abacuses.
yeah, just everywhere. And then they turn around and go, "What have you brought?" And you're like, "The latest edition of Puzzler." And they go,
Gimme, gimme, gimme!
"Oh, that's perfect." What a character! I'm loving this. All right, moving on. We've got Dragon Adventure
It's
Hubs.
fantastic.
So we've got
Get me the
suggestions for
latest edition of
stories.
Puzzler. It's going to be.
Oh, I know. I'm already keen on that. But we've got suggestions for stories and adventures
Okay.
involving amethyst dragons.
Oh, I don't know what that is. I think that is a 1. Another
So
1.
you rolled a d8.
Yeah,
a 1?
A 1.
An amethyst dragon seeks a rare type of crystal found in the domain of a territorial stone giant clan. Now, this is interesting because I'm sure you know this, Hamilton, but dragons and giants have this very tense relationship as from the old world, that sort of idea that they hate each other and now neither of them really exist anymore, or they're really reduced in number. So that could be quite fun as well. And maybe, again, once you've created this dragon and then you're like, okay, so now we have a giant clan, coming up with who the leader is of that clan and doing the same thing as before with that sort of NPC/villain archetype, and then going, okay, and then a stone giant stats at the end. So that would be quite good on that. And what else have we got here? We've got ones that are like covens of hags. We love a good hag. I love a good hag. An amethyst dragon recruits a group of adventurers to I can't even say that.
Cyclically.
Yeah. Ugh, words. Trade bodies with adventurers from another world so they can carry out certain tasks before swapping them back.
Whoa, that's quite a tricky one. I like that's going to be difficult to play, but it could be really interesting.
That could be good, I guess, if you were doing like a West March campaign and you had different groups of people that are playing separately, and then you're able to play other people's
Weirdly,
characters. I feel
this is going to fit in with Dragon's Duel.
Whoops.
Season 3. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realise this is what they've written. But because we've got two planes of existence, we've got two parties, and they're playing they're going to be the same characters, but playing two halves of the same psyche.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. So, like, they're the same characters, but they've been split in half for reasons. And so the two teams are playing the same people, but as I said, two halves of the same psyche, which is going to be fun.
That's so cool.
And there's going to be some gem dragoning, probably.
Nice. No, that's good. I think I just find that's quite interesting, that whole sort of trading bodies stuff. I guess with this, obviously it's with adventurers from another world. So if you were doing this as a one shot or in your regular campaign, it feels like there might be, I don't know, a lot of work on the DM to come up with all these other character sheets, and which if people want to do that, it's fine. I think for me, I like the idea that you physically could change with someone else at the table. Yeah. So whether it's like body swapping with other people, body swap episodes are fun anyway, because people get to try out new things. But I think just with this makes sense when you have two groups. And you can swap them through maybe, I don't know, Adventurers League stuff. They won't allow that. But
in a one shot I played, I might have mentioned this before, but I had a thing, I talked about it in my villain who gave people drinks, and it made them do all like lyrical things. Well, one of them is I literally just turned someone into a bard, so I just handed someone a new character sheet in the middle of a one shot, just like because they'd come with their character and went, so you're now a bard, and went, bosh, there you go. And they were like, oh, what? I am so not prepared. Nope, no you're not. There you go. And they were like playing a fighter, so it was even more perfect, because they're like, I've never done spellcasting, so cool. I don't know what I'm doing. And it was just like, it's a one shot, enjoy it.
I love that sort of surprise. I want more. Again, it's a lot of work on DMs to come up with that stuff, but if you're doing that, as a player, I love that sort of thing, because I love rising to the challenge. I love being surprised like that.
No, they really took it on as well, and they then started like properly getting involved, and this was in the days when you could play in person at a pub, so it got better as the night got on, let's say, because the more drinks that got in, the more they embraced their inner bard. It was perfect.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
Miss those days.
I can just soon, fingers crossed, she says.
Yeah.
But like I do like that last entry on that table. An amethyst dragon is infusing with their echoes across the worlds. So they had this idea earlier in Fizban that the same dragon exists on various different planes and stuff, but they could be wildly different. They all hope to ascend to godhood, perhaps recreating or replacing Sardior, who's obviously the head dragon of the gem dragons, I think. But again, this feels very much like again, all this Marvel stuff going out, the multiverse. Have you seen the end of Loki?
Yes, of course I have. That's why I've written Dragonsteel Season 3. Clearly.
Cool. But yes, so again, if you haven't watched Loki, go watch Loki very quickly.
100%. Yeah.
Because again, that whole setting is just great as well. We won't go into it. I'm sure we'll do a whole thing later on. We'll go, do you see this TV show? It was really good and could be great in your D&D settings.
Yeah,
sure
no,
we'll do
actually,
that
we should. Point. So why don't we do that? Let's say that we do that. We get some TV shows and say, why don't bring this into the setting?
Well, well, again, I know we're recording this way in advance, but I don't know when Christmas is for DM's Book Club, but maybe we could do that as a Christmas episode.
Yes.
Per se.
Okay.
Connected creatures.
Okay, yeah.
So it says here, amethyst dragons are generally aloof, dwelling in isolation for long periods of time and rarely cultivate. So pretty. I love my numbers. Rarely cultivating connections with other creatures, but when they do connect, it is more often for intellectual and philosophical pursuits or to fulfill some arcane purpose involving dragons' echoes across the world. So that's quite a nice little thing. So like, hey, why is there only one on their own, but why is there two? Or why are they connected with each other?
Yeah.
So I guess looking at it, so obviously it splits up into wormling, young, adult, and ancient. Do you want to roll a d4 for me?
Okay, and we'll choose.
And then we can choose what kind of dragon this amethyst dragon we're creating is.
Where's my d4? I can't find my d4. Where is it? Yeah.
D4.
There we go. Right. It's a 1. A lot of 1s today. I'm rolling
a lot of ones. So that is a wormling. So these are the sort of these sort of little baby dragons that they're for sort of level 1s to 4, which is quite good. Again, if we're just starting out, if you really were like, I can't wait for them to get to high levels, I want to have dragons now, it's like, yeah, put a wormling in, so that'd be quite good. All right, so on the wormling table, I get to roll a d6 and see what the connection is. It's a 3. So a violet fairy dragon is the playmate and guardian of an amethyst dragon wormling. Ooh, well, instantly that means we can create another one at some point.
Yes.
Fairy
dragon.
I like that.
Yeah, I can't remember. Oh, yes. I'm just looking at these now.
Yeah, they're beautiful fairy dragons on this. But that's quite good because obviously we've created a very sort of like aloof, hard exterior amethyst dragon that likes numbers. So instantly it means that if we have an opposite or a sort of another half to it, it could be more playful, could be more sort of like what was I gonna say?
Well, maybe this is what we're creating then. Maybe that's their connection as a child. Why don't we give them a connection at each level and make them ancient?
Nice.
So this is like their backstory. Yeah.
You know what? That's really clever actually, because then it means that you have other ways to either to get to this dragon, or they have other friends if you sending them off on missions.
So
great.
This was like maybe that violet fairy dragon was their like as a guardian of them and taught them like and they were like clearly like a prodigy sort of wormling with this mathematics. So they went off. They got sent off to like math school. I don't know, but like this guardian just like helped just embody them with this with a whimsy, maybe because they're sort of a fairy dragon, so maybe that gave them something of that softer sense to them on top of their sort of ruthless mathematical mind or something. Okay, so
I think that's perfect. All right,
cool.
So do you want to roll for the young amethyst?
Okay, let's do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all here for rolling on tables.
Exactly.
So that's what the Wizards wants us to do. So we'll do it.
Clearly, 4.
4. So a deep pool in a young amethyst dragon's lair leads to an underground domain of an aboleth the dragon has been seeking to eliminate.
Yeah.
Oh shoot!
I like that.
No, not an aboleth. Oh, they're so scary.
Yeah. I'll just click on what an aboleth looks like for everyone at home.
Oh no, we've discussed them quite a bit. I think we discussed them in the Baldur's Gate episode we did with Boo and Minsk. I can never say Minsk and Boo. Minsk and Boo. It will never get any better.
Think of the city.
In our Halloween episode.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
One day I'll pay somebody to give me a pronunciation lesson on all these names, but it's not today.
Did you know
in the great.
Oh yeah, in the Dragon Heist game, the Waterdeep Dragon Heist, the Stone of Galore is the head of an aboleth only, but it's just like the eyes of it, and it's got like it's a really fun like if you play it, it's got like a fun little like a roleplay because it says it thinks it's an ancient elder god. It isn't, but it thinks it is, sort of things. You have to play it like it's this ancient, all-knowing being, but all it really knows is where one thing is. So it like acts like it knows everything, and when you ask it a question, it's like beyond its recollection. It goes, yes. That's how I play it. Like, yes, an intriguing question I will ponder, but really has no idea, sort of thing. But it's quite fun.
What a great role-playing thing as well.
Yeah.
Like, again, just if you look at a stat block and go, okay, what's one thing on it? It feels very much like a Jim Henson type thing, where like the sleeping older man with the bird on his head, that sort of thing was like, and then it just like gives one word of wisdom and then falls asleep and you're like, that's it? And you're like, yeah, that's all you get. Yeah. Pay as you leave. I love that. Again, that little lines of just like, here's a roleplay, and you can just have fun for hours as a DM like that, because it means you don't have to roll anything. You can just be like, this is what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can just pretend, and you don't have to know anything, which is always very useful as a DM. So
it's that sort of thing about, you've got imposter syndrome, but you just have to be so confident to just
get over it. Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about it. And the thing is, though, the players will know that, but they won't be able to do anything about it. Which is always a great feeling. Can't do that in real life, unfortunately, because they'll call you out.
You can definitely try.
You can definitely try, as they always say.
Exactly.
All right, so on to an adult amethyst. So this is for me. This is a D8, on this one. The last two are D6, so I guess there's more stuff to do when you're an adult.
When you're an adult, yeah. You can go out drinking.
But that'd be an amethyst dragon's night out on the town. It's like, okay, show me what is fun. I appreciate this is a big stereotype of mathematical nerds.
Yeah,
or anything like that,
but it's going to be turned into its human form. It's going to be a bit like that scene in. I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows, when they go drinking with the Lich sort of character, the ancient one.
With the sort of the big I can't remember what it's called, but the master at the Baron.
Yeah.
I want a night on the town. A night on the town.
Baron's such a great character because they're like, oh god, he could kill us at any moment.
Exactly. Be similar.
That would be an amazing thing. Like, he goes, I want to what is it like to be an adventurer? But the adventurers are always on their toes because they're like, it's a bloody dragon with us.
Like, just starts. Has a whiskey. You get out of the because it's like fire breath. You're just like, I'm just gonna stand over here whilst you drink that. I'm feeling a bit gassy.
Yeah, and he goes to a bar and goes, I want this drink. Okay, it'll be this. And you go, no, it doesn't. And you're like, no, you need to pay. No, but it's mine. I've claimed that. That's part of my hoard now. This whole tavern is mine. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, okay, this has got to happen, right? I'm sorry, I want to do this.
It's very much like, and I'm sure fans of indie RPGs know this, but Grant Howitt made a game called Jason Statham's Big Vacation, which is a brilliant one for the GM, because obviously it's like you roll dice, but so you have to roll a d12 and a d6, and whenever the numbers match, it just says in the rules, Jason does something unexpected, and that allows you as a DM to be like, right, fuck this, and go off and do something crazy, and it's so much fun. I love being the Statham master in that game. Anyway,
Statham master.
I rolled a 2. Yeah, I rolled a 2 on this table. So
clusters of shriekers serve as a warning system in the tunnels of an adult amethyst dragon's lair.
Ooh, what is a shrieker? I have a feeling it's got. Has it got a? I have a feeling it's got like a beak of some sort.
It's it's like a sort of fungal thing with.
It's like a horrible jellyfish type thing.
It's a human-sized mushroom that emits a piercing scream to drive off creatures that disturb it.
Oh, that's quite cool.
Intelligent raisers in the Underdark cultivate shriekers on the outskirts of their communities to discourage trespassers.
I like it. Again, it's that just adds a little flavour to it, because I can imagine we're going to sneak in. You're like, okay. It's got a warning system, and then because they're spending all that time trying to shut them up and kill them, because they've only got like an armor class of 5 and 13 hit points. But if you've got loads of them,
I now want to make a Minesweeper game, because that has the numbers. You know the numbers. It tells you 3, and there's 3 around you, but you don't know where. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's clever. I like that a lot, because it'll be a dark tunnel in.
Yeah.
And you have to be so.
I'll just literally load up DOS and get Minesweeper and say, all right, get to the other end. Go on, players.
All right, you can imagine if you shared that your screen and go, which one do you want? And they have to pick it, and you're like, are you sure? Because I've never won not Minesweeper at all. But that's I love that, integrating another game into. Yeah. Oh, very good.
What happened to Minesweeper?
Absolutely.
That was a great game, actually, in its own way.
I'm sure you can download or get a.
I bet it's probably. It used to still be on Windows Me, like Millennium Edition or whatever, like 2000?
Maybe. I don't even know if Solitaire is still on. You know.
Gosh, jeez.
I don't know.
Oh well, us oldies.
Well. Okay. Us old people. Finally, we've got the Ancient Amethyst Dragon Collection. This is a D4.
D4.
Yeah.
Is
so again, you get to an adult, you're doing all the stuff, and then an ancient one, you don't go out as much. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're like
more feet
you're
up on the sofa now. Yeah.
You're like you bought your hoard, you bought your lair. You're not moving anywhere.
Yeah, you're just sitting on that wealth. You're thinking about getting equity release on your hoard.
Amazing.
Are you looking to live out the rest of your days as an ancient dragon? Do you want to stop holding release equity in your hoard with Saga? Okay, right.
Do you want to timeshare? No.
Timeshares in the Costa del Sol for ancient
for ancient amethyst dragons.
All right, it's a 3. What's the 3?
An ancient amethyst dragon is able to awake psionic potential in others, and many of the greatest psi warriors in history were the dragon students. Ooh,
I like that.
I love that. Again, it comes to that idea that this is a scholarly, I can't even say that word, an intellectual dragon who likes numbers. And it's like, oh, it says that unlocking of the universe, that's thing, so you can now see the numbers almost like Matrix style in the air and bend it to your will.
I like it.
Have
They're the Oracle.
Neo.
Yeah, or Morpheus. Yes.
There is no spoon. You know, all that sort of business. Already, there's so much here. I love that. So yeah, so now we've gone through.
I'm
this
so
whole
glad you said there is no spoon, so I can put in that there is no spoon
Yes!
scene because it's my favourite scene in that movie. There is no
so
spoon.
good. There is no spoon.
It's like you have to be it's like slightly posh English little kid, isn't it? It's like
yeah, it's just sort of sat there and
it is not you, the spoon that bends, but it is yourself.
Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends. It is only yourself.
I love that scene though. I love it.
You
I
have
do
to put that as an NPC somewhere. Whenever you boy, what day is it? It is not the day that changes. It is you.
Yes.
I can't wait for the new film to come out in December. I will say that. I can't wait. It is going to be one for the cinema. I've decided. I've seen Dune. It's Matrix next. That is anyway. Okay. So we've gone through all 4 stages, and actually, I think this is a very good idea to do because then now we have almost like a branching timeline of you could put your dragon anywhere. But I like this idea that this ancient dragon still has this playmate and guardian of the violet fairy dragon. Yeah. That I can imagine is like teaching the adventurer something. And he goes, "Oh, coming in. Oh, hello." Like,
bringing you crumpets and.
I'm not disturbing anything, am I? Oh.
It was just a callback to a previous episode. That was all.
Crumpets.
Yes,
I love crumpets.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you got the Shriekers. I think that's great. Yeah. And then what was the other one? Oh, and the Aboleth. So we've got like a friend, a foe, an environmental thing, and like a history, an achievement per se. So that's actually filled out quite nicely, all these sort of connections. So I love it.
Yeah, and your Psi warriors as well. I kind of like the fact that you could you could even have like one of your first interactions, or as you're saying, like ways to get into like interacting with this dragon for whatever your need is. So I think what was the adventure was the dragon wants you to go collect the stone giant from the gem from the stone giant. So maybe like one of the Psi warriors is your first introduction, who shows you the way through, maybe like through the Shriekers, if it was that sort of thing. So it's like that's how you meet them, like you help them on an adventure, and then they take you to this dragon. So there's a whole like, we're gonna go see a dragon. We're gonna go meet a dragon and be friends with it. How cool is that?
Yeah, well, again, like going back to that Minsk and Boo Journal of Villainy, they have obviously that whole thing where you can get joined to a guild and they have 2 contacts. So maybe one of the contacts is this other Psi warrior, and you create your own guild around that if that's something that you wanted to do. If it's like this is going to be a quest giver thing,
Yeah.
that's fine, rather than a fighting thing. Because that's what I appreciate. We've all gone like, you don't have to fight dragons, and here's one way we've not fought a dragon at all because we've just made this thing. But I think that's so cool because obviously
I love how you're level 20. You know, you have your level 5 and your level 15. Your level 15 is the elderly lady, the elderly like, here's your tea and biscuits, and like what your boons are is you get like bonus biscuits or something. I'm sorry, I'm just.
I am all for older NPCs.
Oh no, 100%. No, I was just thinking.
But I
like,
love
what
that.
are your the benefits would just be like extra cake, which would just be great. Like Heroes Feast, like you get Heroes Feast every time or something.
That would be awesome.
But it is just made out of crumpets and jam. That was all. I just love that idea. I think. We're back.
And we're back.
Yeah. We
Whoa.
had a brief interlude, but we're back.
A brief interlude, but it's fine because then in the meantime it meant I had to go and look up what amethyst dragons do, which is very important for the end of this episode. But yes, we'll continue on then. Oh, whoa! Oh, amazing. So we just done the connections and stuff, and now in Fizban's it talks about Dragonlayers, and we'll come on to this in a bit more detail later. But I just wanted to say, like, looking, and they must do this for every single entry. Not that I've checked, but they've drawn an example lair, and it's bloody beautiful. I'm just stunned by how pretty everything is in these books now. Like you can see that obviously they've got like the little grid system, but they've obviously got its all named stuff. But I think more importantly is that you can view a player version, and I know they've done this for ages, certainly on D&D Beyond, that you can have a player version, and it's just nice because then obviously when it's all online and stuff, you can just like take it down and then use it on any system or anything, or send it to the players if they've got like a mapped out version. And again, you can see there's the dragon scale texture as well. Bloody love.
Oh, I've just realised that is the small bit of this one. Hey, that's cool. So that's like the mountain by the lake. Yeah. And that is inside the mountain by the lake. Oh, cool.
Exactly. Really, so yeah, there's a lot of detail in it, which is fantastic. So, yeah. So, and so we'll come back to it. So it obviously describes like some entrances, the main caves. I think the most important thing, I think for maybe visual stuff, and sort of if you're describing as they're going into the cave, as it's shown here, that amethyst dragons like being near water and something. It does say later on that a lair that is behind a cascading waterfall is perfect. And I was like, oh, of course a dragon would love such a feature, just to be able to like appear out of it, which I love. But what's sort of important to amethyst dragons is that they have these clusters of crystals around. And what I find was really interesting, again, reading it up a little bit later, the older the dragon are, the darker, the sort of more vibrant the purple colours are in the thing, which I love. I love that idea that, again, if it's one of those things where it's a great Western march, or you're just campaigning years and years, and you're having that thing where time skips and you have new characters and stuff, it's the same dragon giving out quests and stuff, that the colours of the crystals change.
They're sort of aging with it, I like
exactly.
That.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So the final little bit is dragon treasures. Now we sort of have alluded to the fact that amethyst dragons, they're sort of psionic in some way, and their sort of dragon hoards, it sort of talks about, is that they collect crystals and gems, particularly their own namesakes, in any kind of form, but they're not interested in like coins per se. So I think that's a really good thing to remember, is that this whole place is sparkling. It's gorgeous, you know.
Yeah.
You have your geodes and all that sort of thing, and anything that has like a silvery finish. So if you've got like a beautiful mirror or something like that. They also favour sort of treasures that are scholarly. I can't even say that word, because we talked about before that this idea of like
golden
philosophical. Exactly. Well, yeah. Why not? But like having scrolls, having like woven tomes of
like
embroidered cloth. Exactly. Yeah, anything that's like intricate and detailed, and this, you know, even if it's just doing the simplest of tasks, but always different ways to do it, that's what's going to be in this dragon hoard, which I absolutely love. And it talks about art objects. I don't know, Hamilton, how much you've rolled on loot tables or hoard tables, that's like in the DM's guide, and what you think of art objects in general. What do you think?
So,
like, what do you make of them?
Yeah, so I have... Okay, there's two things. I have not rolled on the table, but I have put art objects in a one-shot, really. Like treasure hoard, because campaign-wise, it's not really come up that much until right at the end, and the only one was like and then when I do, it's sort of just like, you get lots of money. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
and I flavor it with some things, but I equate it to financial value, if you know what I mean. So it's like you find like loads of like fine jewelry, as well as some silverware and some fantastic furniture and all these bits and stuff, but that all equates to 50,000 gold or something like that, you know. But
Yeah.
the one time I really did it was when I had it was the one shot I saw about earlier when the guy turned into a bard, was the BBG, and that had like this fantastic collection in a tower that sort of like spiraled up, and they had to go and find a particular painting which was an actual portal to another land, and I basically used the tables in the sense, well, a table, I don't know, I didn't use one on DMG, I just found one online actually that was like a D100 table, and just basically populated it, and they could steal anything, and it basically just had, you know, if they wanted to find a Spelljammer helm, if like last week's we're talking about, because this is the future to what we've talked about, or you know, or a Vorpal sword, or anything ridiculous, like, you know, anything of that ilk, they would be able to find it, and that's how I used it. And with that, they had art things in there which just basically had value, or was a magical painting. There was a couple of magical paintings in there, like the one was a portal in this one. So.
Yeah, because I think with art objects, there is that tendency to be like, it's very pretty, but what's it worth? What can I sell it for? And that's the thing I always get. I guess because obviously it's not something like, you know, in a video game, like, I'm going to say it, like Animal Crossing, right? You can pay a lot of bells to get a really nice picture or whatever, and you can put it somewhere and you can see it every time you go into the hall and stuff like that. Whereas I always think with art objects in loot tables and all that sort of thing, it's like, it's great ideas and there's a way to describe it and stuff. But as soon as someone casts like detect magic on it, unless you're using like, I know there's obviously we've got dragon hoard magic items and stuff like that. If it goes, oh, it's not magical, they go, right, I was going to sell that when we get to the
that's
market.
it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unless you want to do the, as you said, the Animal Crossing or the Sims sort of element to your party, and say like, you know, like there's a good, I really want to read it properly, but there's the Keeps one. There's a supplement that, was it MCDM? I can't remember who makes it. It might be I forgot his name now. MCDM person, what they called. Matt Colville, I think. Doesn't he do a Keeps one, Strongholds and something like that? And I think you can like level up your keep and stuff. And so I would suggest things like that could go towards like making your keep more fancy. You know what I mean? So making your keep more fancy makes the quality of the I don't know how that helps the sort of, maybe you can make better parties, which means better people come to your party. I don't know. Really just,
you know what? That's a very interesting point. There's a you probably have heard of it or played it, but it's like Theme Hospital or 2 Point Hospital or whatever it's called now.
Oh, I love Theme
So
Hospital.
they have the whole. It's so good. And I know we always end up just going, have you played this video game that's related to what we're talking about?
Yeah.
But in the newest version, you can make the rooms, but you can like add to it and be like, here's a plot plan, etc. And it levels up the room, but then it means more people come to your GP surgery. Your GPs are more likely to stay. So I think you could have almost like a mechanic. And this is the thing, like obviously you don't have to have
your
any
guards
of this at all.
Are happier because they're walking around your keep seeing pretty pictures, so they're generally in a better mood. Therefore, you get a +1 bonus to charisma saves or something like that. I don't know. It could be something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. Have some sort of benefit. Like people are happier. People are going to listen to you. The checks to ask, say, the guards, or we're being attacked. Can you hold them off whilst we go and get something? We'll be right back. It might be an easier persuasion check or whatever.
Persuasion checks, exactly. Yeah.
But I think I mean I appreciate like this is all like getting really nitty gritty, but I just feel like because of all these tables about art objects in the DM's guide and in Fizban's, to be fair, they're really interesting and they're like, this is a really cool story hook. But as soon as the players find out it's not magical, and I feel that's such a shame because obviously. D&D is so beautiful, like in all the art illustrations. So that's just the only thing off my head.
Drawing that stuff. Exactly. I love drawing that stuff myself, and it's just like and it makes the setting. I really think it comes down to having doing the Skyrim when you make your home sort of thing as well. It's just having the keep and making that an important feature. And we know that D&D players love getting bonuses, so if you can make it have a bonus, all the better.
Well, you know, like that idea of like, I'm sure you did this as a kid, like drawing a secret base, and you'd be like, you can actually map out the room. So like, here is the gallery of all of our achievements, and there's like, oh, we got that from the Amethyst Dragon Hoard. As you can see, it is a sword made out of pure crystal. I don't know, but like, and like write down, like my friend Sam, he always does a beautiful drawings of our characters, because there's always drawings of characters, but not of like, here is the room they're in, or anything like that.
Yeah, so. No, that's true. Okay, I like that actually. I think that we make an art collector, like as you said, a gallery, like
a gallery, or again, I'm thinking of Animal Crossing and Blathers, who has the big museum. It's like, you caught all this fish and stuff, but there's also an art gallery at the back, and you know, and there's just room upon room.
The one that's making me think, was the
go for it.
BoJack Horseman, and Diane wants a bell room. She calls it a bell room, which is the bell from Beauty and the Beast, and it's just making me think of the bell room. Like, you have a bell room with all your artwork in it.
How cool would that be? I just love that, because they always say, like, when you get to a certain level, they're like, okay, you now get your own, you get your keep and you get your own room. What do you put in it? And they might not stay there, but players love decorating what their character's room will be. And now I think you got to fill it all out. If you've got like Mordekainen's mansion or whatever, you know, and you like you can design it to whatever
the ones
you
that
want.
both Sam and Liam made in the Critical Role campaigns. They are just, I mean, everything's chicken. I love that one, and which is Sam's. I love the take that Sam took on that compared to Caleb's, like to Liam's.
I think just getting that back. Anyway, we've gone a little bit off track, but I just thought that was interesting about art objects, because they're very important. So, do you want to roll this final one then? It's a D8 to see.
D8.
Yeah. To see like what else, what would be a random art object we would find in our dragon's hoard.
3 toi.
A life-size human skull, carved from a single piece of crystal, including a hollow interior. So now I'm thinking of like that Damien
exactly
Hirst.
what I was thinking, Damien Hirst. I've seen those in the flesh. The flesh.
Well, yeah, they are incredible, and I've seen this. I think I've seen the shark years ago as well.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like, that's really cool. What are you gonna do with it? Is it going to be an expensive paperweight you're going to put at the end of your desk, or are you going to shuft it off to the bazaar? Like, again, so I guess
so. I mean, you could give that a value easily, but it's just like. Yeah, you can't, I mean, that's the thing. I think the other thing you can do, as we didn't say, is you could just apply a magical effect to every single one if you so wished as well. You could say that this is a small skull of holding that you can put a small object and it will stay there, like gold. You could put loads of gold coins in there, and it's like a infinite coins.
It's like a money bank.
Money bank. Yeah, exactly. It's a piggy bank. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes. There you go.
Oh my goodness, that would be perfect. And exactly. I think it's just taking this. If you like not want to be an art object, make it into an artifact, or even, as we said in Fizban's, there is a section where you can imprint what the dragon is depending on how old they are and stuff. So, and you can even give it like a quirk. So like this crystal could just have like an echo of the amethyst dragon sort of personality, and it could be whispering
I was
things
thinking
to
that
you.
like you can put like a personality into it or something like that, and then it's like Murray from Monkey Island 3.
Yep. Absolutely. It's just like, hello.
Really, like, it's a really annoying, sidekick that you can't get rid of, but it's good fun.
Amazing. And again, these are just tiny little things that, again, your players might be like, oh, it's a crystal, we're going to throw it. As soon as it does something, they're like, oh. Ooh. And it's no in-game effect. It's just you being irritating. But just now you've personalised it. Because that's the thing, because as soon as it's like,
some of the best things are most irritating as well. Like, yes.
It is, but it's like, hey, listen, from, Zelda, that whole sort of thing. It's like, you can't, like, I feel like a strong urge, like, we can't get rid of it, even though it's probably worth quite a lot, because it seems sentient and we'd feel bad, so
just putting it in a box.
That's cool. And of course this could be to anything, like, we're looking at it as well, there's like obviously lots of pale crystal stuff, but there's also like a ring in the shape of a coiled dragon with a tiny gemstones for eyes at number 8 on this table, which is like beautiful. And again, I can imagine that being easily a magic item, but also just being like that idea of echoes and that sort of amethyst dragon telling you things, perhaps like almost like I don't know, like the One Ring essentially,
Yeah.
and maybe it draws other amethyst dragons, because of course once a dragon has died, the other dragons are going to know about it and they're going to come find the hoard and who's taken it, so that I like that idea that it is any of these art items could actually be.
Hello, can I hear you? Yes, I am the new owner of this hoard. Can you please? I'm sorry. Goodbye. Bye.
Please return. Please return to.
Players just like putting it in a box somewhere. Okay, we'll forget about that one.
Exactly. But yeah, so again, it could be easily something that. Again, it could be something useful, or it could be something really bad that puts a huge target on your back for other dragons to come and find you. So yeah,
I like it. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Or when the dragon dies, its soul gets embodied into it, and you have to then take it somewhere to like rebirth it or something, because it becomes an egg. I don't know.
Oh, of course, yes, because there's a whole section on hatching and eggs and all that sort of thing as well. That's all good. So that's us obviously creating just our ideal amethyst dragon. But I thought we'd just quickly end by looking at the bestiary section of dragons, because I think it's important actually. I actually quite like how we've done this, is that we've picked a dragon, and then we're going to look at what that dragon can do. We've already created our base skin of it, and obviously we could take that and go, actually this doesn't work for an amethyst dragon, this works for a green dragon or any of the other dragons, and just put it there and tweak it slightly. So I think it's just a good procedure to do. So looking in the bestiary itself, firstly, amethyst dragons are the mightiest of gem dragons, which I'm like, yes,
we win.
Good rolling on that, Hamilton. I was going to say, excellent.
I'm just showing the artwork here now of that of the one that's on there.
They are gorgeous. They're just so bloody cool.
I'm looking at an ancient one, by the way.
But the ancient ones are amazing. But what getting the vibe off in the bestiary, it feels very Doctor Strange actually. This idea that they obviously use psionic powers, and they like the fundamental like manipulating the fundamentals of the multiverse, changing stuff like the force of gravity, and again that whole thing before about that ancient dragon that we said that has psionic warriors, it trains people up. I love that it actually comes from, it's not just like, oh, I've read some books. It's actually no, this is actually this is my wheelhouse. Out of the way. Yeah, and then as it gets older as well, these dragons they become sort of they start off with like dull, opaque purple scales, so like a typical sort of like your typical purple, and then obviously as they get older, they get more vibrant and translucent. So again, that idea of a gem being able to see through it, which I just love that idea that. Again, describing dragons and describing their environment, I think is so important for this, just to emphasize how bloody cool they are.
They are really cool. I'm reading all this as well. Like, I skim read this when we first read the Fizban's bit in the bestiary bit, because I was like, dragons. I know dragons. I want to read all the like new bits, but then all this stuff is like, yeah, I'm like, this is all good stuff. This is all very good stuff. It's fantastic. Yeah.
I quite like, there's in the section cosmological study, they take, they are aware of intrusions, from the far realm into the material plane, but it says at the end, they are strangely intrigued and fond of flumps. Now, I know what a flump is.
Here's a flump.
Hamilton, do you? It's just like the silliest creatures. They remind me of, if you've ever watched Yu-Gi-Oh! And the card he always draws with the little furry creature that is like, oh no, not this creature, useless. And then of course it's like, oh, there's loads of them, and we're gonna take down that blue eyes white dragon. That's what it sounds like here. That these flumps sort of oppose bloody mind flayers, and then they're just like. At the end of it, Amethyst Dragon, they are sort of reminded that allies can be found in the strangest of places, and I'm like. The flumps.
The flumps. Well, I mean, it's quite. I kind of like it. I kind of like the. I just quite like that idea, as you said, of this like mighty dragon floating with all these like, oh, hello,
hello.
And just flying off like, where are you off to? Kill some illithids.
Oh my god! And there you go. Another character is like, oh wait, sorry, my messages are coming in. It's all these flumps going. And he goes, good work. And you're like, what the fuck was that? Don't worry, they've stopped a huge incursion on the far realm. What? The flumps dealt with it. Who have you got on it? Top flumps.
Top flumps. Well, that's a top trumps game I never knew I needed, but there you go.
Oh my god, yes.
Top flumps.
Yes. But again,
I've got a
it's
mega
interesting.
flump. So... that's the ultimate flump, mega flump, right?
We can't compete with that. Oh, ooh, I just can imagine them all coming together.
It's into one sort of Megazord flump.
Oh my goodness, we're gonna have to do a whole episode on flumps now. We need to really delve in.
I feel it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Mega flumps and mind flayers. Next episode.
Oh well, that's a spin-off series in itself. One is a flump, the neighbour is a mind flayer. Oh, they don't get on.
The back-to-back picture. Oh, sort of angry pose.
I'll get you flumps. Anyway.
Oh, I love it. Fantastic.
I love flumps. Oh, again, I think, but it goes back to that whole, when we talked about that wormling we created, the wormling Amethyst dragon that we rolled. Oh, it has a fairy dragon as its partner. And again, because it's the way that Amethyst dragon is portrayed, I love the idea that it is very serious or very sort of poker face. And then you have all these creatures around it, and it's like, the creatures are like, oh, hello, blah, blah. And he goes, you did well. Good. Very Witcher-esque in a way. Like,
yes. Yes.
Good. Damn.
No, it's great. I really like that. That's perfect. It's sort of that counterpoint between the two, sort of like playing off each other would be so. Yes, no,
makes it more interesting. Yeah,
I want them to be carrying the tea though with the elderly fairy dragon as well. Though they're all like moving the little cups and pouring them out for you and stuff, like floating around.
Here you go.
One becomes a
hot.
table.
Oh yes. Ooh, don't mind me. We've done it now. We've this is now official Flump podcast. We've done it. Moving on slightly to dragon lairs. So amethyst dragons, as we sort of discussed briefly, they sort of make their lairs in caves and under secluded pools and lakes, preferring caverns with at least one entrance submerged with water. And I quite like this, that there is a lot of water in it. So again, if your players are coming in, the amethyst dragon could be underneath the water, it could be difficult terrain, or it could be above, and it doesn't matter where. So it makes it a little bit difficult for the players. It's not all solid ground. Like, environment is a killer for players. I struggle with environment as a player, so it is your friend as a DM. But the lair actions, I don't know if you had a chance to have a look at this, Hamilton.
Well, it made me remind myself of what I said earlier.
Yeah.
Force
exactly.
cage.
Yes.
Bastard.
But this time, the DM has it. So
exactly.
On an initiative 20, lairs get an action, essentially. So it's just an additional thing your dragons can do. So this
is going to be my long play, get back on that player. If you if you're watching this, Anita from Critical Misses, I'm coming to get you, because I'm going to force cage you.
And then your amethyst dragon who's been so calm and cool, and it's like, yeah, now who's in the cage?
Who's in the cage now? Yes. Boom. They won't even remember. But I'll be like,
they're like, what? What is going on? Exactly. So this lair action is called Imprisoning Force. So the dragon casts Force Cage spell and uses its spell save DC, and the spell ends only if the dragon uses this lair action again or dies. So here's the thing, So there's 3 lair actions. You could do this at the beginning of your thing and then never use it again, trapping who's ever in that force cage to be out of the fight.
They're
essentially
quite big force cages as well, so you might even be able to trap all of them and just be like, and do what I did, force cage.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because that's the thing. Unless, again, I'm very bad as a player. We always clump together. So as soon as you go, oh, he's going to do your fire breath, quick, we need to spread out. Unless they're going to do that straight away, because initiative 20 count. This is when the lair action is. Unless they're going to have really high initiative, which they may do, because this dragon is certainly the ancient dragon is a level 23 critical rating, challenge rating. Sorry. So yeah, the force cage. What a great start. You also have beguiling whisper, which the dragon telepathically whispers to a creature within range, and they must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be charmed by the dragon until the next round. Yeah, which is great. I love a good charm effect. Again, gem dragons it says are typically neutral, so it might be more like I would say. It could be backstab your friends or something like that, but it might just be like take a swim in the lake. Or something like that, and so they might just be like away from the party, unable to do anything.
Or just arrange yourselves in a line neatly, if you would.
Could you stand up behind this person? Absolutely. And then finally, there is spatial projection.
Yeah, I like this.
So bloody cool. So essentially, the dragon chooses a space it can fit in in its lair. Those are words that are not in the right order, but essentially, it can exist in its own space and another chosen space simultaneously, and it can choose which version of itself it would like to move. That's pretty cool. Like, and if an attack or an effect target at both the spaces at the same time,
really work well for if you're doing breath weapons and stuff. Tactically being able to position yourself like they're all like standing in this line, and you're like this, and then you go, well, I'm now here. cut the line. All that sort of.
So within like a mile or so of the lair itself, there'll be certain effects to be like, hey guys, there's a big bad over here. Just want to signpost this out to you. But they're really cool ones. So that here you've got thriving wildlife. So fish and other aquatic beasts reproduce rapidly and thrive in bodies of water within 6 miles of the lair. So, and which is a benefit, because obviously you can think villages and stuff are going to be like, oh shit, there's loads of food now. Great. Watery
it doesn't
sight.
matter we're giving it all our gems, we're getting great food.
We're getting all this food. Well, exactly. And you can imagine, actually, again, another storyline where you're like, the villagers is like, oh, we're doing well, it's very plentiful harvest this year, but there's no, and then maybe somebody steals one of the adventurer's pouches that have gemstones in it or something like that, and they're like, we don't talk about the mountain, don't go up the mountain, don't disturb what's ever up there,
Everyone's
and then if they do
happy.
Oh yeah, everyone's too happy, and then you go and disturb. You're like, "What did you do?" And he's like, "Well, we defeated the dragon." And you're like, "You idiots, we were fine."
I like that. That's right. There's as I said, there was a Witcher thing which is very similar to that. There's a billion things in the Witcher game, but yeah, there's one that's very similar with a benefits.
Yeah.
What was the hag one? They're getting benefits from the hag.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, the hag. Yeah, exactly. And there's other stuff like watery sight. So they can use clairvoyance. And target any body of water in that region. They've also got crystal profusion. I can't even say words now. Which is just like there are just loads of crystals and geodes. So again, like almost like I can imagine like a yellow brick road type thing, or and it's like, oh, it's so sparkly.
Stone road. Yeah, I like that.
So it's.
You can feel it. You could do like I could see like in a video game-esque when it lands and it makes its layer. It does this sort of like settles and it just goes. And these things just start like growing out of everywhere, and it just starts settling the land into it.
It'd be so cool. Yeah, and I thought we just end by looking at the ancient Amethyst dragon, because if in doubt, let's go ancient. So
only
good.
Got 444 hit points.
No big deal. No big deal. It's got a flight speed of 80 feet. It can swim. It can obviously move normally. Skills, obviously, I love that Arcana is plus 22. It's gonna know what things are. It's like, that's a magic item. I know it. Which is, I love. Obviously, it's resistant to force and psychic. And
Big ones.
And conditions immunity. I always think this is interesting. So it's frightened and prone, but it could technically be grappled, even though it's a gargantuan creature. So I guess
if it's another gargantuan creature, it's got to be a strength +8, but
which is it's pretty strong. So so I think that's the thing, is that most dragons, from what I'm aware of, they have a lot of condition immunity. Certainly the the metallics and the chromatics, from what I remember. So do make a note of that. Let's
have a look at the aspect of Tiamat quickly. Condition immunities: blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, poisoned, and stunned, for example.
So that's a
Bahamut is the same, basically, nearly. Yeah.
So I guess because they are sort of higher up, maybe, as a deities and stuff. So, I think it's, again, not that your players will know this, I think, but I think as a DM, it's good to just be aware that, I'm going to cast darkness or something like that, so it can't see. It's like, it won't work. It won't work on Tiamat or aspects of Tiamat, but on this one, it probably will. Except it's got dark vision.
It's the barbarian. I'm going to grapple the dragon. Okay.
And you're like, ooh, good luck.
you can try. You actually definitely can try this time.
You can definitely try.
Yeah.
Obviously, legendary resistances, always good.
Yeah.
Again, like I said before, put it at the top so you don't forget.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about, very quickly, the Singularity Breath, because what a name. Fantastic. And just the way it describes it. So the dragon creates a shiny bead of gravitational force in its mouth, and then releases the energy in a 90-foot cone. Each creature in that area must make a DC 23 strength saving throw, and on a fail it takes 63 or 14d8 force damage, and its speed becomes 0 to the start of the dragon's next turn. So what an opener. You blast this. Again, if they're all very nicely put together, all in the line, you do that, and then maybe if the dragon rolls really high in initiative, does that, and then force cage. That's it. You're kind of stuck. You're all not moving anywhere, or you're not getting anywhere. And yeah, force damage is very hard to. I'm not aware of anything that players can do unless it's magical that would halve force damage. And there's nothing like resistance per se, which is amazing. I guess unless you are an actual draconic gem dragonborn, which is new. But yeah, again, what a name, Singularity Breath.
Fantastic.
I love it.
I love it all. Love it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so cool. The other ones, I mean, spellcasting is in the new type of spellcasting, which is cool, which is this just simplified 1 day each. Here's a bunch of spells. Love it. Yep. Absolutely love it. Great ones. I mean, clearly, like, on point, blink, control water, dispel magic, freedom of movement, global invulnerability, plane shift, protection from evil and good, and sending. So very much psionic, water, and planar, sort of basically, isn't it? They sort of stick with that sort
Pretty
of...
much, yeah. And global invulnerability is great as well. I don't know if you looked at that. It's this basically, there's just an anti-magic barrier below a certain number of spells. So 5th level and below can't do anything, and even if you I'm going to use fireball at 8th level, it's still not going to get through. So I like the fact that you could put that up, you're okay, well, I'm going to use my 8th level spell of something, and you go, cool, I'm going to resist against it anyway with my legendary resistance. So I just love that. Like, you get to a point where you're just wasting people's spells. So you have to come to me and fight me as a melee or rangeman, but then I'm going to fly as well. Which I love. And of course, they can change shape into a creature that is medium or small, which is great. Again, you can have these in disguise, like we said before about this. I want a night out on the town as like the Baron-S type, what we do in the shadows.
So good.
Which I love. And I think the final thing I want to say is obviously legendary actions. These are great. Again, would write them at the top of your sheet so that you remember to do them, because they are, it's so much fun to use them. But I love explosive crystal. So the dragon spits out an amethyst that explodes at a point that it can see within 60 feet. So just basically just a missile of pure amethyst.
It's like a frag grenade.
Yeah.
Something,
18 force damage or 4d8, and can be knocked prone if they don't succeed a dexterity saving throw. So, and that's free legendary action. So you can only do it once per huge round. But again, that would be so cool. Again, at the beginning of your turn, if you're just I'm just gonna. So good. Oh,
it's great.
Brilliant.
They're really cool, actually. I think they're my new favourite dragon at the moment, just because I really like all they have on there. Really, I love all the stuff we were talking about with their layers as well, and the other additional actions, the layer actions they get, which are really cool. I think, and as you said, Singularity Breath is just the best name for a breath weapon I think ever. So I like that.
Yeah, and you know what? I hadn't clocked, as you said, like the new spell casting in that is just once per day. Oh, so much easier. Yeah. I feel so much better now that I've seen it. Because I was like, I hadn't even clocked it. That's how small a change it is, really. But as an admin person, I'm like, hooray! Throw away all those markers.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. No, really. It's one of those things when you think it makes so much sense, but it probably took a lot of thinking to get to it. Do you know what I mean?
I think a lot of play testing as well. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing with all these books and stuff. I know. I guess when we not even criticize them, when we go through them and stuff like that, let's face it, we're still amazed that someone's written a book.
Exactly.
I'm like. I'm so and that's the thing. I always come away from these things not being disappointed, which I think sometimes people do. They're like, "Oh, it didn't have this or it didn't have this." I come away with so many ideas, and I'm so I know you're excited about dragons anyway, but I'm like, "Oh, this is really cool." I guess for me, I just want to run more encounters and stuff and just try this out. Like I've said before on this podcast, I really struggle with combat and initiative because I always forget. Or what can my dragon do? Or what can I do? Here as a DM. So just even running encounters and just practicing that with friends.
Yeah, no, it's like Monster of the Weeking or something like that. Just doing some of those as well. But just running something. I mean, I even think it would be fun just to test this out, because I was looking at that, I was thinking back to Beelzebub or something like that, like pitting Beelzebub versus this ancient amethyst dragon, both sort of CR23, CR25s, and just sort of see how that would manage as well, just to try and benefit yourself from, like, you could just play that yourself in some respects, but like, because they're very different in their own ways, and seeing how that kind of affects play.
Yeah, like almost, like, because I always thought that would be cool as, like, say 2 DMs, you pick some level CR creatures, like 6 of them, and you just like have a Pokemon battle of some sort against each other, or even just a battle royale, like you're saying, like between 2 like legendary creatures, and see like a giant versus a dragon.
I like the tag team thing, like is in like you run them out until you run out of legendary and like monsters to fight. Coming to Dragon's Duel season 4 soon. Sold. That's done. Okay, co-created. TM. TM. Done, right? That's it. We've
done. I think that's how it works. Yeah. So, well, there you go. So that's how to make a dragon using Fizbans. Obviously, this is one way of doing it. You might go the opposite way around and go, I want this kind of dragon, and take the stats first.
How to make a dragon.
Oh, we screwed up, didn't we?
We really did. I'm going to cross it out.
Yeah.
How to make a dragon.
How to make a dragon. Yeah. Oh, and how to train your dragon is next week. No, I'm kidding. But
exactly. Amazing. So what about yourself?
What about myself? Well, when I'm not recording from my new closet in America, I am. My name's Fiona. I run the What Am I Rolling podcast, which is a twice monthly RPG one-shot podcast. As always, it's going very well. We have, now would have been released some episodes of 39 Dark, which is a sci-fi political thriller, which is all very dark and gloomy and sort of a bit down. If you're not into politics just now, which I wouldn't blame you, don't listen to it. But otherwise, listen to it. It's actually really fun. It's one of those games where it's just 2 players, and it's about how this one person tries to make change as the leader of a protest movement, but also has to cope with their own self-worth in all the stuff happening. And it's all a bit political backstabbing and stuff like that. Jeez. Really fun. It feels a lot of mechanics.
Real, to be honest, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
feels very real.
Yeah.
Lots of mechanics that I've just had to do the voiceovers for, and there's loads of them. But we had such a good time doing the story. So if you're not, I would listen to it as just a story.
Who'd you do it with?
I did it with my friend David, who's on it's called Who Lives Who Dies. He's on that new D&D show, which I'll put the link in here. And he's very good, and he's one of the players on Xerios. When we used to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, and so that's out. I will be recording loads of solo one-shots because I'm currently on holiday, but I'm 6 time zones away. So I've got, when everyone's finished when people are finished in the evening, I still have a bit of the afternoon. So I'll just go, I'll go create my own content by myself.
That's that's spare time equal content.
Exactly. So I'll be doing that, and I'm sure I'll be around in general. And it's almost Christmas. It's almost the festive season, so
and maybe we'll have a big fat quiz of the year in the new year. That's another thing, isn't it?
Yes. Oh yes. I will. Well, we'll brainstorm more questions. I can do questions this week because I'm
there we go. Let's do it.
There you go. Let's do it.
Let's make a pub quiz. Let's do it.
There you go. Done.
Awesome.
Done.
There you go. Great content. I am robot.
Content.
I make content. Sorry.
Hashtag everything is content.
Hashtag 00. Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. At this point, it's true. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully you now can create your own dragons. We will see you next time, where we will. I don't think
what I said a second ago and doing.
Yes.
We will see you in 5 seconds time.
We'll see you in 5 seconds time. Whatever. Love you. Bye.
Catch you on the flip. Bye.
Catch you on the flip. Bye.